Hi, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about beet pickles because we happen to have a ton of beets from the garden. It's already frosted twice, and as you know, if you leave them in the garden until it freezes, actually you can leave them in the garden until the ground freezes because that's a good place to store them. However, I don't want to have to run to town in the middle of winter and get my beets, so I'm pulling them out now. I have plenty of beets to freeze for this winter, making borscht, you know. And also I'm going to do a batch of pickled beets. And this year, instead of pickling them with lots and lots of extra spices, I'm going to just use one spice and lots of vinegar so that they aren't quite so sweety spicy, but a little more like pickles. We'll see how the family likes them. If it doesn't work, we'll try a different recipe again next year. What I have done so far is I have picked the beets and I've taken them outside or left them outside and washed them off really good with the garden hose. They are funny looking things. You can cut the tops off, so there's just a little bit on there. It'll help you get that skin off. But that's what we have to do first. We have to remove the skin. Now, I have beautiful, beautiful rosy red beets here, as well as the dark red ones that everybody is familiar with, such as Detroit, which is a really beautiful colored beet. We need to wash them off again, though, in the house. I'm going to brush them off a little bit. I'm going to take some of this, you know, if there's dead stuff on there, put it in my compost bucket right here because we don't want it to go to waste. And then I'm going to put them in a large kettle. And I'm going to cover them with water. And then we're going to simmer them for about 15 or 20 minutes. And then I'm going to show you just how easy it is to slip the skins off of them. In the meantime, why don't you grab a cup of coffee and make yourself comfortable? We're going to have a lot of fun today. So how was your coffee? It's a good day for cannon and coffee, isn't it? Alrighty, our beets have been cooking. I let these cook a little bit longer because as you can see over here, some of them were pretty big beets. And we kind of want them to be like almost tender. Then that way when you freeze them, all you have to do is put them in a pan with a little butter for just a few minutes and you have a quick and delicious side dish. Here we go. We're going to remove this cover and lay it over the raw beets here because we still have some to cook. But these are ready to rock and roll, so we're going to very carefully take this over to the sink and pour the water off. Oh, and look at the beautiful, I don't know if you can see the color of the water. It's really gorgeous. And now we're going to add some cold water because those beets are very, very hot. And we want to cool them off to keep them from cooking longer because they're pretty cooked by now. And also, you will be amazed at how easy these skins slip on. So we're going to dump these in the sink because they're heavier, they're bigger than I lost my handle there. Okay, there we go. In the sink. And we're going to wash the pan out. I just like to wash the scum off from the fruit batch, and then we're going to add what we have left of the beets and continue to cook them while we're peeling these other ones, and then I'll whoop up some pickled beets for you. Actually, if I had time, I would actually do some borscht today, but it's too beautiful to be inside cooking. So we're going to finish our beets and we're going to go outside and we're going to wash carrots or clean out the garden or do something wonderful. Alrighty then. Down there. The pan out some more. A cooking pot. I love this cooking pot. And because I don't want to cook these beets with soap on them, I'm going to rinse the soap off of them. And in the kettle they go. We also need some fresh water and then we'll put them back on to cook. It'll give our other beets a little chance to cool off. This will be the end of the beets for the year. Aren't they beautiful? You can store beets, you can root celery your beets too if you so desire. We didn't quite have the room. We're still recovering a bit from the flood. All right, as you can see, the tails, the tops, just mush right off of there. Look at that. You can just squeeze the skins off with your hands. Now, they'll stick to you and they'll stick to the beet. So we just rinse them under a little cold water. It helps to keep them cooling process going. You can cut out any bad spots now or you can cut them out later, but we're just going to rub the skins off of our beets and put them in this big pan over here. And then I'm going to get a few things ready for canning and I'll be right back. Alrighty then, we've got a couple things going. Our next step, after we got all the beets peeled, which was really quite an accomplishment since we just have many beets going on there. And I am going to try and pickle some of the colored ones too, but we're going to work with the red ones right now. We're going to make a double recipe of brine. And so we've got several things going on here at once. I've washed my jars. I have some boiling water to heat the jars before I put the beets in them. I want them to be warm. I want the lids and the bands to be warm because I'm going to put them into a boiling pot of water to process them for about 10 minutes. And you don't want your glass to crack because it's cold. So the beets are warm, the jars will be warm, the brine will be warm that we're going to pour over the top. And to make the brine, it's very simple. We have for one recipe, we have 2 cups of sugar. We have a tablespoon of pickling salt, which I love. And don't use it for regular salt because it is saltier. Okay, and we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of whole cloves. And let's see, there's the rest of the sugar. And then we're going to stir in 1 quart of vinegar, and I hope I'm making a double batch here, so I hope and pray that this will fit. Oh, it just barely fits. Whoa! And we're going to save that to help us. Now what you want to do, we're going to save that. We're going to save this. We don't have to wash it because we're going to use that to help us pour the brine into the jars. But isn't that lovely? Little floaties in there. Now my last recipe had cinnamon sticks and all that kind of stuff in a bouquet that I wrapped up and put in there, a spice bouquet, and then I took it out. But we're going to leave this recipe as just cloves, vinegar, sugar, and salt. It's very high acidic content, so you do not have to worry about the pH and poisoning yourselves. That vinegar will kill anything. But by the time we're done with all of this, hot and washing, we'll be just fine. Ooh, I can't wait to taste them. Okay, so we're going to let this warm up, and what we're trying to do is get the sugar to dissolve, so this will become a clear liquid. And in the meantime, I'm going to begin to fill the jars with the beets. Alrighty then, if you read my blog, then you probably read about how I like to shop for unusual types of kitchen utensils at thrift stores. I'm sure many of you do the same thing. However, do you know what this thing is? Oh, wait, it says right on there, it's a Presto French fry cutter. Now, Michael Pollan believes that if you ate French fries as many times as it took you to cook and peel the potatoes and then slice them and deep fat fry them, then French fry eating would not be a problem in America. It would not add to your weight because it's a lot of work to make French fries by hand. So, I use this rather to cut my beets when I make beet pickles. I might actually just go ahead and cut up all my beets for freezing. Okay, now, see, I saved the great big huge beets for the beet pickles. And I do cut out all of the bad spots. Did have something eating them, it appears, but there's still plenty of beet left for me. So, cut another one that's pretty good size too. So we are going to, as you can see, I've been actually working on some beets here. There's a little extra skins and stuff laying around. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this like so. Ooh, nummy nummy. And then like that again so that it fits in here. Then I'm going to just go like that, and ta-da! push that through there. It actually cuts. I'm going to just throw those little pieces away because I don't think we're going to miss them. Actually, your beet pickles are kind of cute looking like this. Okay, I'm going to wash my hands, and what we're going to do next is we're going to pick out our first, let's see, we can only fit 7 jars in the canner. Woo! Maybe not. Which is boiling to beat the band. I'm going to turn it down a little bit until we're ready to rock and roll. We're going to pick up kind of like the similar jars here. Oh, I see we have wide mouths. 1, 2, 3. Well, let's get them all in here. Okay, so in addition to the jars that we've already washed, we're going to keep going until we run out of the 2 batches of brine. But we're going to start with some red beets. Alright, here we have our 7 jars that are all filled with beets. Just up to that spot right there. You need to leave a little headspace in there. Now we are going to pour off some of our brine. Okay, and we're going to fill the jars. Oh dear, that one got all the spices in there. Probably should try straining those out. I'm going to actually pull some of those out and put them back in the rest of the kettle there, because once that flavor is infused into the vinegar solution, it is just fine the way it is. Hey, you want to fill them, get your water up there boiling while you're doing this, and then you want to get those babes into that hot water bath just as soon as possible. You don't want them to cool off. You want to be able to ooh, we are getting right down there. Hopefully we'll have enough to finish the other 6 pints. Get a little more brine here. Like I said, I'm going to strain out those cloves, put them back in the pan. Yeah, there's always a trick to getting that stuff to end up just right, but hopefully we'll be okay. Alright, now this is very important. You want to wipe these edges off. Make sure there's nothing on there that can get in the way of a good seal. You want to pull that seal out. You want to put a warm band on there, but you do not want to tighten it too tight. Just snug it up there. Then you want to use your jar lifter and put it into your boiling hot water. Get the other ones ready to rock and roll, and then lower them under the water. The water should be cover them at least by 1 inch. These are pints, and this is a huge canner, so it'll probably be easy enough to get them covered. Alright. 10 minutes, that's all it's going to take. In the meantime, we're going to work on the light colored beets. So you want to repeat this process with the bands and the lids. Make sure that they're hot. Make sure your jars are still hot. Make sure your brine is hot. See ya when they're ready to come out. Okay, here we go. They're going to come out of the hot water bath. You're going to lift that cover away from you so the steam goes not in your face. We are going to grab another hot pan here, because you don't really want to burn yourself on these things. My frog is the best because he doesn't get wet. We're going to pull the jars up and set them out like that. Give them just a minute for the steam to go away. Then we are going to grab a dish towel because they're going to be wet on the bottom, and we do have couple extra jars. So we're going to pull these out. Do not tip them sideways. Isn't that beautiful? Most beautiful pickled beets you ever saw. We're just going to add them over here to the rest and wait for that familiar pop, which is a lovely sound to home canners. We're going to hope that we did a good job with our new pickle brine. We'll be eating pickled beets tomorrow. If you have any questions about what we're doing, just give us a call. In the meantime, good essing.